We've all been thinking, there's no coming back from extinction. But these animals in our video today proved us all wrong. From the Tasmanian tiger to the brooding frog and the California condor, we have for you animals which came back from extinction. The saber-toothed tiger. The saber-toothed tiger possessed extraordinary well-developed forelimbs and extremely long upper canine teeth, which were designed for precise killing and required a jaw with a larger gape than modern cats. These massive animals are thought to have perished with the Ice Age. However, there's some evidence that contradicts this theory. In 2002, a surprisingly young fossil was found which showed that the tiger had just died 28,000 years ago, rather than 300,000 years. And the DNA evidence suggests that all might not be lost of the saber-tooth, and there are at least 4 different families of animals developing the saber-like canines as a hunting adaptation. Tasmanian tiger. Somewhat of a mixture of tigers and wild dogs, Tasmanian tigers are found across Australia and Tasmania. They were declared extinct in 1936, but the strangest thing about it is that people keep seeing and capturing these tigers. Even though scientists keep claiming there's no possibility of them being alive, we do not know what to make of the videos and pictures. According to papers published by the Tasmanian government, there have been 8 sightings in total of the tiger in the previous several years, with the most recent in July of 2019, when a guy discovered what seemed to be a Tasmanian tiger. Bermuda petrel. For 400 years, these beautiful little birds were thought to be extinct. A bird whose existence was threatened by man, the population went from 1 million to none in just 20 years. They were declared extinct until a young naturalist found about 17 nesting pairs of the gray and white Bermuda petrel. It's so surprising that a species whose extinction was so certain came out to be alive, as if they were raised from the dead. The conservationists took action immediately and brought the birds to safety. Blue whale. Who has not heard of blue whales, right? Not just the biggest whale, but the biggest animal ever found. These magnificent beasts may grow to be 98 feet long and weigh up to 199 tons. They originally inhabited practically every ocean, but at the close of the 20th century, they were on the verge of extinction. Humans killed almost 380,000 blue whales between 1900 and 1970, leaving only 0.2% of their original population. And that's when the remaining were brought into the protection program on an urgent basis. Thanks to the efforts of the scientists, their population is slowly increasing, and it has reached up to 15,000 now. BAIJI dolphin. Also known as the beautiful goddess, the BAIJI dolphin was the first ever dolphin to be considered extinct. As much as it shocked the humans, they were themselves responsible for the extinction of such a lovely creature. They were declared extinct in December of 2006 when humans surveyed very carefully the entire Yangtze River and failed to spot or hear any dolphins there. But after that, there were a few sightings of the dolphin in 2007. So there's a big chance that there might be a family of BAIJI dolphins living somewhere deep in the ocean and are yet to be rediscovered. Cuban SolenodoN. Due to the unusually low number of individuals and rare sightings, the Cuban SolenodoN was thought to be extinct for years. It was declared extinct in 1970, but then someone saw it and was rediscovered in 1974. Well, we can't blame the scientists, can we? It's so small and can hide perfectly. No wonder they thought it was gone. Galapagos tortoise. With their weight about 919 pounds, the giant Galapagos tortoises are really huge. Not only are they large, but they can live for 200 years easily. However, even after having such great advantages, these tortoises went extinct in the 20th century. Their population declined so fast, they went from 250,000 to just 15 in a couple of years. The last 15 individuals were taken in by conservationists, and the captive breeding program helped increase the reproduction between the survivors. White rhinoceros. The second largest mammal on Earth and the most social of all the rhino species, this white beauty was nowhere to be found by the scientists, and they were on the verge of declaring it extinct when in 1985 there were sightings. When scientists went to check the area, they were surprised to find a tiny population of about 20 individuals living somewhere in South Africa. These were kept and taken care of by the scientists. However, unfortunately, only 2 are left now. Well, let's hope we get this beauty back in the wild soon. The mammoth. Well, you must remember them from the Ice Age. Just like the saber-toothed tiger, mammoths have been extinct for thousands of years, and the last mammoth found frozen had died about 10,000 years ago. Another frozen mammoth was discovered in Siberia, entirely whole, and its flesh was proven to be still fresh after a detailed investigation. The cells showed signs of life, and this was huge news for the scientists. The DNA has been found intact. Apparently, there are big chances that the scientists might be able to restore this huge prehistoric mammal back among the living. Apart from this, we cannot just not include the sightings of the woolly mammoth. However, we do not know if these are real or not. You decide for yourself. The brooding frog. This unique animal, which swallows its eggs, broods its young in its stomach, and then gives birth through the mouth, is known to be extinct for almost 30 years. But let us tell you, it isn't extinct anymore. This extraordinary amphibian was discovered in 1972 in Australia and shocked the world by its reproduction method. The mother frog has the spectacular ability of converting its stomach into a womb. Can you believe that? And she can digest about 20 to 25 tadpoles in that stomach of hers. The last captive individual died in 1983, and the species was extinct until a few years ago, when Mike Archer and his team from the University of New South Wales were able to bring this 1/16th creature back to life using a process known as somatic cell nuclear transplantation. Crested gecko. The crested gecko is a perfect example of an extinct species making a comeback. The Diplodactylidae family of geckos includes crested geckos, often known as crusties. They are among the biggest gecko species, with a body length of 6 to 10 inches and a tail length of 4 to 6 inches. The hair-like projections seen above the eyes, which mimic eyelashes, are their most distinguishing characteristic. They also feature 2 rows of spines running from the sides of their wedge-shaped head to the tail's base. They also don't have eyelids, so they use their extended tongues to wet and clean their eyes. They're actually a very popular pet, owing to their appearance. They were assumed to be extinct for a long time, until 1994, when they were rediscovered. Characteristic of this animal was prohibited globally when it was rediscovered, but not before a handful of breeders in the United States got their hands on some. They're still a fragile species that must be preserved and cared for. American bison. The American bison, often known as the American buffalo, is one of the most well-known species to have survived extinction. Bison were nearly extinct in the 19th century. Several reintroduction projects have sought to rebuild their numbers since then. Today, approximately 300,000 bison reside across North America, with an additional 15,000 bison living in the wild, thanks to these efforts. Despite the fact that their number is substantially higher than it was a century ago, they are nevertheless designated a vulnerable species since their range has been drastically reduced and their population is nowhere near its historical peak. The Steller sea lion. The biggest member of the sea lion family is the Steller sea lion. They used to be plentiful all throughout the northern Pacific, from Japan to California. However, after the 1970s, for unknown causes, their western population dropped by 80%. They were nearly extinct in 1997, but because of conservationist efforts, a large portion of the population has recovered. Nonetheless, the IUCN still classifies Steller sea lions as a near-threatened species due to the unclear status of their recovery. California condor. The California condor is the largest vulture and land bird in North America. The population of these giant scavengers declined significantly during the 20th century. First near extinct and then declared completely extinct in the wild, these birds were nowhere to be found. Just a few remain in captivity, and that is when a U.S. government established captive breeding programs for them, and with the help of it, the population increased. Although slowly and gradually, the world now has almost 518 condors. See you next time.